I'm burning. Yeah, yeah.
Up everyone, shake the stress that's killing you. Fancy footwork just like me, shaking over this dance floor. Throw your hands up everyone, shake the stress that's killing you. Fancy footwork just like me, shaking over this dance floor. Enjoy your life, be free and right. Enjoy your life, have some fun and enjoy.
Coming up next on Mental Health Matters with Marty, October is Domestic Violence Awareness Month, and we want to bring you not only the strategies, but what does domestic violence look like in our communities? Stay tuned. What's up, everybody? Hey, it's your host. It's me. I'm back. Yes, Martina Sellers, your mental health hygienist, coming to you live and in living color from Southern California. Listen, I missed you guys so much last week. I was off celebrating my birthday. Yes, you heard me. It's a year of double grace. Come on. 55. Don't tell nobody. We're trying to hold it down out here. So listen, we so missed you. I so missed you. But thank you for letting me have last week off just to get some things straight and just to kind of celebrate. And all of you guys, listen, I was so overwhelmed by the many, many, many well wishes and birthday wishes. If I could personally come out and thank each and every one of you, I just want to say thank you. You've made a young man such as myself feel good. Listen, all of y'all who are in our 50s and above, yes, we say young man, and we are still young. Come on. We are the new 30s. Come on, touch your neighbor and say new 30, new 30, new 30. But because this is Mental Health Matters with Marty show, let's do some first thing. Let's get the housekeeping out the way. Listen, Mental Health Matters with Marty is a show that is intended for your psychoeducational purposes and your psychoeducational purposes only. We are not a substitute for your mental health services or seeing your therapist. Let me say that again. We are not a substitute, but we are a supplement. What are you saying? I'm so glad you asked me that question. We are part of your treatment plan. We are part of your evolutionary plan with becoming a better and healthier you, but we are not the substitute. So if you are experiencing any type of psychiatric emergency, please call 911 or go to your nearest urgent care, because that's how we roll. And how do you engage with us? You engage with us. If you are on this platform, we want you to engage with us. If you want your comments to be seen, we are not ignoring you. But this amazing new platform allows us to look at your comments on two platforms and two platforms only: on the Mental Health Matters with Marty Facebook page or on Marcel Media Group on YouTube. If you post on any one of those two platforms, we can see your comments and I can comment to them. Our guests can comment to them. But if you do it in my personal page or on some other page, random pages, because some of y'all put some stuff in some page, I'm like, I don't even know how that comment got there. We will not see that. And you keep texting me, are you ignoring me? No, I'm not trying to ignore you, but I'm just letting you know, if you're going to comment, please comment on the Mental Health Matters with Marty page or on Marcel Media Group page so that we can see your comments, because we love you. Listen, shout out, let us know who's out listening, where you're listening from, because we have a great show for you today. And I'm so excited to have returning people coming back to us to talk about this thing called domestic violence. Listen, we know that since COVID and the stay at home, orders that were put in place over a year and a half ago, some 16, 18 months ago, 20 months ago, we have seen an increase in domestic violence. Part of it was become, we don't know if we like the person who we living with. So, hey, Mr. Mondo, hello. Listen, what's up, turkey legs? All the way from DMV. But we don't know if we even like the people we've been living with all this time. So we need to look at, and our goal today, we don't want to make light of domestic violence because it is a serious, serious topic. And it's a serious challenge. I grew up in a domestic violent household, so I know what that means and how the children are affected and how everyone is affected. So we want to make sure that we definitely give this true time and essence of what domestic violence is. And I'm so glad to have some experts with us. Alana, how are you? Yes, hey, so glad this topic is being covered. Alana, I'm with you. Too many of us, especially in our Black and brown communities, do not talk about this. Toby, you know I'm never ignoring your comments, but I did see them. So, Toby, so good to see you. Listen, want you to come on and move back to Cali. What's up with that? And everything. So, listen. Domestic violence has so many forms. We're talking about that in so many ways. We're just not talking about physical violence. We're talking about emotional violence. We're talking about sexual violence. Can I go here? We even talk about spiritual violence in a lot of ways as well, and what that looks like. No more turkey legs working out. You know, it is the Thanksgiving holidays coming up. But I appreciate you. Keep working out because that does a body good. Yes, and a mind as well. But we want to talk about what that looks like, the red flags of it. We want to talk about the symptoms of it. And can we even be honest about why so many people opt not to leave out of domestic violence situations? Because domestic violence is all about power and control. So I'm so excited to have with us, returning back to us. She is no stranger to Mental Health Matters with Marty. She is an amazing clinician here in Southern California that I'm so glad that she's a part of my organization, Marcel Consulting and Mental Health Services. So let's welcome back yet once again. So glad to have her. None other than Miss Raylene Hall. Raylene, how are you, darling?
Good. How you doing? Good to be back.
Listen, I always want you back. You got an open invite. Whenever you want to come, you're more than welcome. But for those who may not know your powerful and amazing story and who you are, talk to us again. Remind the people who you are, what you do, and why are you so passionate about this whole thing of domestic violence?
Oh my goodness. Man, I wear many titles, many hats.
Yes, you
So
do.
I am Raylene Hall. I go by Empoweranista. I am an evangelist. I am a domestic violence advocate as
Yes, you
well
are.
as a clinician. Yes. And really, and really the reason why I got started with domestic violence and decided to become an advocate. I am
Yes.
certified as a domestic violence advocate for victims and for batterers. Decided to do this thing because I had a close childhood friend that
Mm-hmm.
that was murdered by her partner.
Wow.
What
Yes.
happened with that story was she left the relationship. She went home to
Mm-hmm.
her mom. And she snuck out in the middle of the night one night, went right back to her partner, and never came back home. He straddled her,
Right.
put a shotgun in her mouth, and pulled the trigger. And that
Wow.
was
Wow.
my first really recognizing how horrible relationships
Yes.
can turn. Like we see those things on the news, but when it hits close to home, it's a whole nother
Right.
ball game, a whole nother story. So
Right. Right.
yes.
Hey, Jonathan, so good to see you, my brother. Thank you so much for joining us as always. And yes, Landon, what's going on, everybody? Right. That's right. Domestic violence, most of us are usually, you know how they say 6 degrees of separation, but I believe a lot of times in our communities, there's a lot closer with that. I grew up in a domestic violent household. Thank God it never ended in death of my mother or anything. But for 16 years that I recall of that was my life. And
Mhm.
then I had a first cousin and she and her son were killed because of domestic violence. And I have
Mm,
a second cousin that was, when I think about it, there's a history of it in our family where
mhm.
two women have been murdered by their partners at the time. Because of domestic violence, and we see the signs of it, but I think a lot of
Yeah.
times, Raylan, we don't know how to help those people in those situations. And then now we're
Yeah.
dealing with, not only we're dealing with the guilt of it, we're dealing with, well, I should have done this. And so
Mhm.
much of this is preventable as much as possible. And I think for me, it's how do we empower people to support those who are going through?
Hmm. That's a
What would
really
you
good
say?
question. It's
Hmm.
a really good question. A lot of times, even, we can easily say, how do we empower people? Not everybody even recognizes that they're in a domestic violence
Oh,
situation.
wow, that's good.
We give it different titles like, oh, it's toxic, it's dysfunctional.
Right,
Yeah,
right.
we have things
Ooh,
that are going on. It's not the best. But first,
right.
making them aware of their
Yes.
situation and their circumstances. I know for myself, I didn't realize, like, I would label, when I was married, I labeled my marriage as toxic. But when I
Uh-huh.
really began to dive into this domestic violence stuff, I'm like, oh
Right.
my goodness. We think because if
Yes.
we're not being hit, we think if
Yes.
that it's not, there's not other dynamics that are going on in that, but really
Yes.
recognizing and realizing what the situation is. So the empower in order to empower someone, they first have to be aware and recognize what type
Yes.
of situation they're in first, and then from there be able to gain back their independence from that person
Love
who's
it.
trying to maintain that power and control over them.
I love that. I love that. And Trisha says, yes, especially when it's emotional or mental abuse. That is so true
Hmm.
because so many live in that mental and emotional abuse. And can I go here? Especially those of us who are in the quote unquote, I'm going to say this, in religious organizations. That
I got a story to tell for that one.
that oh,
Yes.
God won't put more on me than I can bear, or I'm just in here doing my part. God will provide. Yeah, He gonna provide, but okay,
Hmm.
that's a whole nother. So how do we even speak to that? I love this. Real quick, she says, as a survivor, you can empower by being there even when they continue
Yeah,
to go back. That's
to
so
go
true.
back. That
Oftentimes,
is
the
true.
family gives up because they continue to go back. Oh, Danielle, thank you so much for saying that because that is so
That is
true.
true.
Thank you and
Hmm.
congratulations. We applaud you today in that. And this is, hey, Mama. My mother says mental
The
abuse is the worst.
worst.
With that,
It
and when I
is.
look
It
at,
sticks with you a lot longer.
yeah, it does. It does. So how do we speak to that? And I love that the comment about still being there to support even if they do go
Mm.
back.
Hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
Mm-hmm.
all we can do is, give a hug and really just encourage them. Well, mom, there was a saying that my mom used to always tell me. She said, "When you get sick and
Uh-huh.
tired, you get sick and tired."
Right.
You can
Right.
complain all day long about how it is, how they did this and that and the other. And my mom's response
Mm-hmm.
every time to me was, when you get sick and tired, you'll know it. And that's when you'll
Right.
finally make the choice to walk away. The thing is,
Right.
with domestic violence, we can't force people to leave the relationship. And it's not even always a
Right.
good idea to tell the person to leave, because, of
That's
course, we'll
good.
talk longer later on about
Yeah.
the importance of making sure that there are safety plans in place
Mm,
in order to get out of that relationship. But you just can't tell your friend, like, he hit you today, you should leave, but you don't realize
mm-hmm.
how much goes with that
Mm-hmm.
leaving, and how much.
Mm-hmm.
So it's important for us to just be open, have an open door for them, allow them to voice how they're feeling and what they're going through, and be there for them, like she shared. Be there for them.
Yes.
It's important.
Yes. Excellent. Listen, let's bring on our other guest because he is absolutely amazing. And I purposely wanted to bring a man who does this as well, because oftentimes in these situations, we see women who are definitely there. But I love this young man because he brings a male attribute to this as well, and I love it because he's able to challenge men as well as he's able to challenge women. So listen, he is no stranger to the Mental Health Matters with Marty show. So glad to have my brother, the bishop, the doctor, the apostle, the pastor, the deacon, all the above. He'll lay hands on you, anoint you, and do what he got to do. None other than my brother, the Reverend Deacon, Doctor, Bishop, Apostle Michael Adams. What's up, brother?
God bless you. Amen.
Yeah.
How are you, sir?
Amen. Man, it is so good to see you. How you been living, man?
Titles. All is well. All is well.
Yes.
All is well. It's a declaration. All is well. It's a lifestyle.
That part, and sometimes you have to declare those things. Come on and declare it, even in toxic some situations. You just listen, speak to those things that aren't as they are. Say, listen, all is well because it's going to be well. Because I'm going to, I'm going to get the courage to do what I need to do.
See, you trying to step me out. You trying to step me out because somebody brought this church. You can't say all is well and remain in a toxic environment. Abundantly blessed. You can't say those things and remain. Don't let any doctrine, don't let anybody with authority tell you to remain in somewhere who is not treating you right.
Yes, that is so true.
Period. Let's just go and put them natural boundaries out there. Let's go on and put it out there. Let's go on and put it out.
I left the church because of that.
Exactly.
Talk to us.
I had when I was going through my divorce, and the pastor's wife, she wanted to know all that was going on. You know, we can help you. We counsel couples. Come on, and I'm thinking like, and she was just telling other people like, why didn't you tell me she was going through a divorce? I could help, and it was just too much. So I decided at that time it was time for me to leave. And I hid in another church. I had my time. I had to go to another church, and I said I hid there because I'm usually really active in churches. But I made sure I attended, but I didn't make myself known because I was going through this time. But I knew that it was time for me to go because I kept struggling with the Lord. Like, God, I know you don't want me to be unhappy. Lord, I know this can't be the thing. This can't be the way. And He, eventually just said, it's to release me from that thing because if I would have stayed longer, man, I was depressed. I was crying all the time. I didn't feel safe. It was so many things going through my mind, and it was a mental hold, and it was time to go. We tried everything. We did marriage counseling. We did all that stuff. So it's not like I didn't try, but it was a point where it was enough was enough. And like you guys are saying, there's too many people who are staying because the church says to stay, but the word says they're putting it back on the word that Jesus,
God hates divorce.
But at the same time, we have to be mindful of that. He didn't tell y'all to get together and get married in the first place. But anyway, that's
a whole other story. And look, pastoral counseling and therapeutic counseling are two different things.
Come on, say that one again for the
get into all the other DV stuff, but since we talking to the church people,
right?
Pastoral counseling and therapeutic counseling are two different entities that may or may not exist in the same space. If you are in a toxic environment and someone is forcing you to remain, they too are toxic.
Ooh, that's good.
That's a good one.
Oh, that's good. That's good.
They too are toxic.
They too are toxic. Yes. Yes, the church says to stay, not God every time.
Not God every time.
Right. Yeah. But yeah, I love this. Y'all, I love this. Y'all done walked heavy already.
Y'all pulled me all the way. I got notes and stuff, man. What I'm supposed to get
you got some notes?
But since they put this out here, life and that more abundantly. Toxicity.
Go ahead.
Life and that more abundantly. Toxicity. Don't sound like two different streets altogether.
Oh, that's good. That's good. They absolutely are. And you said it right. Because we know that domestic violence is about power and control.
And
There
control.
you
and
go.
we yeah, it is about power and control. I have the power to control you. And so there's
Mhm.
nothing godly about that at all. If we talk in church, there's nothing godly about that.
Can't
The only
serve
person we
two
need to be,
masters.
come on, come
Because
on.
either
I
you
got
will
One
the
that's
love
supposed to be
one.
in control is the Lord. Yeah.
and hate the other. Yes, come on. I got the evangelist on here, y'all. We're gonna pass the
I,
offering plate
I
at
don't.
the end of
No,
this.
I got a different. I'm wearing a different hat.
You're wearing a different hat tonight. Okay, Michael. For those who don't know what you do, because you do some amazing work in Raleigh, North Carolina. Uh, Share with the people what you do and why you have I love it, abundantly and abundance. That's right, and toxicity definitely can't coexist. Come on. That's the missus, right? She always in there for you.
I
Come on,
love.
we're gonna have her on the show too. We got to have her back on the
Please.
show. Yes. We miss you, darling. But tell us the great work that you're doing, and why are you drawn to this controversial work that you do with dealing with anger management, domestic violence, and all this stuff that you do that is actually can be very taxing on you physically as well as some of the men try and buck up against you.
Yeah. Well, that's a different environment altogether. But actually, this was the one job, preachers, that I did not want. Fresh out with my master's degree in human services, looking for a job. This was the only job I did not want, and it was actually the plan that God, a portion of the plan God had for my life. I actually do about 6 batters intervention groups a week, men and
Wow.
women. Men and
Wow.
women,
Yes.
intimate partner violence. I also case manage that, amongst the many other hats that I wear. Of course, elder, in the very near future, a doctor in transformative social justice.
Come on. That's
Um,
right.
I can go on and on and on with titles, but at the end of the day, it's servant, and this is where I find I meet God here every time. In my groups, I meet God here every
That's
time.
good.
You
That's good.
see, it's about a level of accountability. It's no browbeating, but it's about radical accountability through all different means. And so, having said that, man, this is my passion. I thoroughly enjoy it. I thoroughly enjoy being challenged. This is one of them jobs that's going to challenge you like you challenge other people
Yes.
every day,
Yes.
because you can't be 100. And there's a bit of advice that I give anyone that I got from my brother when I first started this job. If you can't be 100, don't say it, don't do it, because these people will tell on you. You are now drawing a parallel into the truth, and you can't be
Right.
halfway doing that.
Right.
And so, yeah,
Right.
that's a portion of the works that I do every day, and I enjoy it. I love it. I love it.
Man, I appreciate both of you. And Michael, I say that I always say this about you, man. To see a black man doing this because you are helping to change the image of that. Because oftentimes we as black men are viewed as predators, and we are viewed as the one who is causing the pain. And so now to have another black man in there challenging us, making sure that we're doing this and teaching the right thing. And then Raylene, what you're
Yeah.
doing as well. Raylene is very modest. She rewrote the whole domestic violence curriculum for Marcel Consulting and Mental Health Services. So we are so glad to have her. Right. She came
love
in
it.
like, Marty, this ain't good.
That's
So I
right.
need to correct this.
That's right. That's right.
But you know
That's right.
what? I appreciate that's not my wheelhouse. I took someone else.
That's
I'm
right.
like, hey, let's do this. Here we go. Thank you, Paula. Paula says, in Connecticut, we have something
I
called
see you, Connecticut.
Yes. The Prudence Crandall Domestic Violence Home. I went to tour it. There are a lot of women and children. That's right, living there, and there's even one male resident. That is quite interesting because usually men have a challenging time with finding residency for those who are escaping that. They do excellent work and provide a safe house for people to reside in. Since the pandemic hit, the waiting list to get in there has gone up tremendously. Many people were being abused when they were forced to be home with their significant others.
Mm,
That is so true.
Forgot
You
about
know,
it.
Raylan, speak to that, because I know we have out here the House of Ruth, which does wonderful work out here in Southern California in the IE. But what do you say, even hearing that statement and Paula, what Paula has saying? Yes, Daryl
well,
is finding the right
she
person.
pointed out she pointed out one significant thing is that there was a male resident. I think a lot of times
Yes,
when we discuss domestic violence, we forget that there
yes,
are women who are perpetrators of domestic violence, and then there
yes,
are men who are also victims of domestic violence. So working with men and women, and what I'm pointing out with her statement was that one male resident. I've seen this as I've taught the domestic violence class to male victims. The man, my heart really goes out to them. Not to say that
yes.
the women, we have so many resources for the women, but there's not enough
Mm-hmm.
resources for the male victims who are in the situations that they're in. And I've seen like grown men like in tears,
Yes.
as I teach these classes, and the things that they're experiencing and going through when they call the police, and the police look at them and they look at the woman, and the first thing they say, like, you couldn't handle her, like, what do you mean, like, you're really calling me for
Mm-hmm.
this? Or they end up getting
Mm-hmm.
arrested when it was the woman who did it. So there's so
Mm-hmm.
many dynamics within this
Mm.
that we forget about that male population. And I had to even assist to try to look for homes for males, and
Yes.
they're
Yes.
there's like
Yes.
one, not even 1% when you think about domestic violence
Mm-hmm.
programs that help men. It's
Yes.
rare, and I was able to locate one that's
Were
in
you
is it I get Pasadena, Pomona. It's like
Pomona Pastor?
Lancaster, Pasadena area.
Okay.
And there's
Well,
one
that's
home
far.
out there that yeah, it's the first home that takes male and female victims of domestic violence.
Wow.
Um, and I was like, my goodness. And then only other than that, it's like homeless shelters
Yes.
for them to go into, but it won't provide them the resources that they need. But yeah, it's
And
it's
especially if the
it's
men
it's
have
it's
the
tough.
yeah, especially if the men have the children too. We've seen that
Hmm.
that is virtually. I see you, Michael. Virtually impossible for them, and so men and children, or even with some of the shelters, they don't allow the men to stay with the children
Stay
again
with
because
the
the children
children.
are yes,
Hmm.
and so they're like, well, we'll take the children, but we can't take you. So there's
Or if
this
there's
dichotomy.
boys that are over a certain age, they won't take. So if you have children and your son is
Exactly.
over the age of 10 or 11, they won't take them because
Yep.
now you're trying to figure out, okay, where does my son go when I'm dealing with this
Mm-hmm.
situation? So
Mm-hmm.
it's a lot of dynamics that go into that thing.
Yeah.
The
Talk to us, Michael. You want to
redefining
say?
of what intimate partner violence needs to hit the table.
Yes.
The
Yes.
redefining of what it is. But see,
Mm-hmm.
you can't say. I'm glad that she said it, Miss Raylyn said it, and not me,
Yes,
because
yes,
what happens
exactly.
is that now you're victim shaming.
Mm-hmm.
There was an issue where she hit me. I left. I was arrested because she said I hit her,
Yep,
and I'm
yep.
going to jail. And now you
Mm-hmm.
can't say anything against that. The truth is
Mm-hmm.
this again. We have to
Mm-hmm.
recognize early on in relationships that toxicity is toxicity, because you
That's right.
cannot depend on law enforcement to dictate a healthy outcome
Right.
for us, especially not us.
Right. Right.
Whole nother
You're
story.
absolutely right. Yeah, that's a whole nother story. You're really with that. So can we first go back to what are some okay, Alana, thank you, Alana. Alana says, I had a situation recently where a client was in distress trying to help. You can tell a clinician because he used those wonderful words in distress.
You're crying.
Those
Where-
no,
where- where-
them is no writing words. Them no
There's
writing.
no, yeah. Trying to help her friend out of a physically and verbally abusive DV situation. And her friend was resistant and just not ready to leave the situation. How can we help
Mm.
others understand how to accept that someone has to leave by their own will. Ooh. Oh, she gonna hit us with a hard one. but you're absolutely right.
So
go ahead,
here's the thing. Here's the thing. The truth is this: one of the jewels that I've taken from job is you can't make anybody do anything.
Right.
It is up to them. The more you try, we call it Q-tip. Quit taking it personal. Number one.
That's it.
It is their decision. I provide the information. I'll provide the support. Support is not making anybody do anything when they want to. Miss Raylyn said, when you're sick and tired. And I heard an old person say, when you're sick and tired of being sick and tired.
Being sick and tired.
You will do something. But I'm here for you to support you when you're ready to do it. I'm not saying it because you're not doing it on my time. I'm not going to help you.
Right.
I will help you. But a person has to recognize it.
Yeah. It's similar to a person who is addicted to drugs or alcohol. When a person has an addiction,
there you go.
You cannot simply say quit and let's go and throw them into a rehab program, because guess what? They go through the program kicking and screaming. They still gonna come out and do the same exact thing because they didn't willfully say that they wanted to make that change. The person has to actually willfully say, I'm ready, I'm done, I'm tired, I'm ready to change my life. Other than that, you're gonna have them repeatedly going back to a situation that to them, they're still making excuses for it. Well, it's okay. He or she said they will never do it again. It's okay. They said that it's going to be okay. See, they sent me roses. I got a sorry. They took me out. We going on vacation. It's all good. It's okay. They're still in that denial. And as long as they're in that denial period, there's nothing that you can do. But at the same time, we also have to recognize as family or friends of these people who are in these relationships, you pulling them out can cause yourself harm, everybody else around you harm, as well as that person harm. We see it on the news all day long when the person goes up and shoot up the whole house. The mama, the daddy, the sister, the brother, everybody gone because everybody else is intervening in that situation. And I know we love our family so much and we feel like we got to intervene, but we can't. We have to learn how to do it in a way that person
says,
healthy
and
okay,
safe.
I'm ready to go. Healthy and safe.
Yes.
That's right. And we have to be all right with it. We have to be.
That's it. And I think we take the guilt on with that because we feel helpless in a lot of those situations. But Trisha had, and I'm going to get to Jonathan's comment here. Trisha definitely stated in there, and really, you guys know it takes anywhere, from 5 to 7. I think it's more like 7 to 10 times. 7 times. Yes, before someone will leave out of a situation, and especially when there's children involved, when there's finances involved. What are they going to do? Because many times they have to be willing to leave 100% of everything behind. That means leaving photo albums, leaving documentations, a lot of times, leaving clothes, whatever comfort you might find, leaving
that's
money.
When you get into the safety planning.
Yes.
That's when you get into the safety planning. But I also want to add this because you have to change the narrative on it. When you're leaving your comfortable space, if you're used to being in a toxic relationship, that's all you know.
It.
I would choose to be in toxicity over my freedom and my safety. Now, I have a lot of people like that as well. I don't want to be lonely. I don't want to be lonely. I'm too old to be lonely. I don't want to leave a toxic environment into the unknown.
Yes. Yeah. Because it is unknown. And the fear, because now we're dealing with the mental brainwash of that. They told me I'm not going to be nothing. They told me you ain't going to be nothing without me. Nobody wants you. You lucky I want you. So now we're dealing with a shift in the mindset. So there's so many layers to this, and that's all we're trying to say. People, listen. I love the comment that my sister in here said earlier about learning to be supportive, because we as family members, yes, it was Danielle. Too often people worried about material things, but a lot of that is not even some of the material things. I agree with you, Danielle, a lot, but we're dealing with the mental, the sexual, and all those emotional baggage and things that come along with it as well. There's so much. Yeah, there we go. Thank you.
It's the norm that I know. It's the norm I know.
Yeah, as opposed. So Jonathan says this. I've known of horrific incidents involving same gender loving individuals that are dealt unfairly by the organizations that are held in an official capacity to protect and serve all individuals. How can we change that stigma and a narrative for that particular population? I'm going to. I hear you breathing deep. I'm going to turn it over to you, Michael, and I'm going to give it to you, Raylan. How do we help in those situations of same gender loving LGBTQIA populations where we know that abuse and DV is extremely high? We won't even talk about the drug addiction and the alcohol abuse, because a lot of times we will deal with that to cover up that pain, emotional pain as well. So, Michael, what are your thoughts about? Because this is an excellent question, Jonathan.
It's an excellent question. I'll have to answer it first from my elder platform and say,
okay,
love everyone. That ain't your business what people do and who they are with. Our job is to love and serve. Number one. Number two, one. Of course, the organization that I work with, I don't, this is going to sound terrible. I'm going to call you by the title that you is your title. I'm going to place you in that program accordingly.
Right.
The skill set remains the same, regardless of the population. The stigmatism that comes with, what do I think? I mean, I have different people in different groups follow me. At the end of the day, I think it begins on the love level. That's how we advocate for people to be. I should not have a conversation to you about how to treat another human being with love.
Wow.
That's for the save people in the back.
So good.
Minister Raylan.
Yeah,
That's for the save people in the back. I shouldn't have to have those conversations. Because if I'm having those conversations, you are missing something. At the end of the day, it is our job to serve. They need the same skill set. They need the same support. Put them accordingly, and let's move on. We get caught on stumbling blocks, and people mental health, people emotional health, people physical health is in jeopardy because of our stumbling block. Yes, it's a heart issue. Period.
Come on.
Can we move forward?
Right.
But nobody wants to stop there and have that conversation. We want to put people the round peg in the square hole in the square hole. So if you got time to do that, then that means somebody ain't getting loved or served. I'm gonna mute myself in a minute.
Come on, no, you're not.
Right.
No, you're not. Raylan, talk to us, because the elder has said, now by the faith, hope, and love, and the greatest is
love.
Yes, and that goes by treating the presenting problem. It's not for us to go and say, well, why were you doing this in the first place? Whatever it may be. The Violence Against Women's Act made it possible for organizations that is now that everybody is supposed to be included. Service, they're not supposed to turn away anybody for any services, whether they're male or female or whatever their gender is or their sexuality is or any of those things. They're supposed to be able to get the services and not turn people away. So the laws that are in place have made that now made those effect, but we know that when it comes to reality, not everybody will abide by those things, and they still have their judgment and their criticism and things going on. But I agree, treat people with love and treat the presenting problem, help them with what they're dealing with at that moment. It's not for you to go and say, well, let's now try to fix your whole life, but fix the problem, help them work on that problem that's presented, that's at the forefront, that's causing them the issues.
Yes, we didn't call for Iyanla right there. Fix my life. We just trying to fix some situations so that we can empower you to fix your life. Evangelist Iyanla is somewhere else. We call them some immediate challenges that we have right now, and that is seeking safety. We need to get these people in a safe environment so that they can get the necessary. They can have the moment to get their mind together, and just as you're saying, it's a traumatic experience already. They just need a moment just to say, what has just happened? I've stepped out on my own, and now, as you were saying, Michael, my whole world has come crashing. What do I do? It's a change. It's a change.
And the other, it's a definite change. And the other piece is that If we could help people to recognize what they're in, there's a
Yes.
I can't. We don't have time to teach it, but there was an African dude in one of my groups that said, "Know with whom you are dealing with." If you could know that sooner than later. There's a long story that go with that. But her best friend asked him before he married this woman, "Do you know with whom you are dealing with?" And he married her. And he found out with whom he was dealing with.
He was dealing with.
At the end of the day, these red flags that we brought and those kind of things, we need to recognize those things up front. And that can help. That can help some of these relationships, one, from formulating, or to help people to set healthy boundaries. Because at the end of the day, what we're trying to do is we're trying to have people exist in healthy relationships. Recognize toxic ones, find ones. So I mean that's what our job, that's what our focus should be. The problem is a lot of times we can't teach those skills until you have been arrested for and charged with and brought into our programs.
Yeah,
that's so good. Yeah. That's so good.
I'm going to talk about that, Elena. When she let me go, I'm going to talk about that.
Okay, so let's deal with the red flags and let's deal with the green flags. And
the yellow ones too. We got yellow ones too.
We got some yellow ones too. So can we deal with the red flags? What are red flags? What are red flags? Raylene, let's start off with what are some red flags?
Okay, some red flags: someone who's possessive, jealous. They want to control everything. I would say even when you go on a first date, if they are already ordering your whole meal for you and you haven't even spoken up as to what you want to eat, that's a red flag. Don't think it's cute. It's not cute. Like, and how soon is he already talking about? It's not cute. How soon are they already talking about getting married and you moving in? Like, how fast are they trying to move? Moving so fast in a relationship. They just met you and they already want to move as fast as they can. There's no real courting phase. They already want to get into your mind. Let's go. So I'm sure Michael has some other red flags because I can.
But those are good red flags. Brother Michael, red flags.
Those are good ones. I got a few. Number one, this is a good one. Listen to how they talk to their mother or their loved one before you are dating. If this person is cussing out their mama or their sister or their brother, I don't care what kind of relationship they had growing up. If they are willing to cuss this person out, that means they'll probably do it to you. That's one. Intense reactions to little things, they blow up. You can see steam coming from their heads, ready to fight over the smallest things. Addiction, understandable. Unpredictable behavior. This person you can never know. They're not consistent in their actions. And lastly, no accountability. They don't own anything. Those are good ones to see up front.
Those are great red flags, you know. And we're just giving you tip the iceberg because you can go on and on and on about this, you know. Control, they're overly controlling, like you said. And I love Danielle's comment. She says, "Listen, won't even get your input on the first date, or anything like that." You know, so again, what we're doing is painting this picture of control on so many levels. And y'all, we got to quit going, "Ooh, that's so cute." No, it's not cute.
No.
The question
love
is,
taps ain't cute either.
They sure enough ain't.
And I'm cute
either. Or even how they talk about their love.
Ain't cute.
Yes. They just no. That's not. You know, then it makes me have to question. What did the African man say, Brother Michael?
Know with whom you are dealing with.
Right.
I love it, man. That's my man.
Right. And we got to know ourselves too. Are you even ready to be in a relationship? Have you healed from your past relationship? Yes. Are you still holding on? Are you wanting this boo to replace everything the last one didn't do? You know, are you healthy and whole yourself? We got to begin with ourselves in that, because too often, listen, I say it this way when I'm doing couples counseling. Listen, I know we love the Teddy Pendergrass song, 50-50, not talking about 60-30. Yeah. You know, 70-30. I can't add y'all. But I'm saying and listen, that's a public school education. To go to private school, go to private school. No, we need 100% in both of ends of the relationship. 50-50 ain't gonna do nothing because you got two broken people trying to make a whole. That's never gonna happen. That's right. That's right. So look at so we got some basic red flags. Now, what are yellow flags? Define what yellow flags are and what are they? Brother Michael.
Yep. Yellow flags require further investigation. We don't know if they're red yet or we don't know if they're green yet. A yellow flag would be that your family and friends have concerns about this relationship. Mr. Raylan, the fact that y'all moving too close. Or that he's pressing you to move in, or he's seen. I don't understand. He's not. His background a little funky. They have questions or concerns. That ain't a situation where I ain't thinking about what they say. Those require further investigation. Different life plans, different life goals, different life goals. I'm not saying that this is the end of a relationship, but what I am saying is it requires further investigation. How do I fit into that grand scheme of things? Crazy exes is a yellow flag. This could be a lunatic. It could be. But it also, boy, I'm about to preach to the crowd. But it also could be a key indicator of with whom you're dealing with. It's a crazy baby mama and there's nobody that has set no healthy boundaries. We're not together, but we're parent healthily. If that ain't happened, then you got questions for everybody, not just them. That's a yellow flag. And lastly, hesitate to make their relationship public. Maybe they are private. Maybe they got several women or they got several men. Don't know. Find out. Investigate. Yellow flags. Yellow flags.
Yellow flags. Love it. Mr. Raylan, you have on yellow flags. Those are good ones that Brother Michael gave. Any additional yellow flags?
He gave some good ones. Really, when it begins to discuss the future, they're only discussing their plans. They really haven't asked you what it is that you want. They don't want to hear really. They're not asking really many details about your life, what you do, what your likes are.
Oh, that's good.
It's really them talking about themselves. They haven't. You have people who just talk about themselves and that's it. And then also really making plans for your life already. So when we get together, you don't have to work. When we get together, you don't have to worry about nothing. I got it all taken care of. That can be good in some ways if you both have come to the conclusion that that's what it is that you want. But to just say that we're going to move in together and I don't have to work anymore. How do you know how much I enjoy my career or whatever the case may be, or what my goals are and my plans are? But just to tell me I'm just going to be sitting in the house without any input. So just being mindful of a lot of those things as well.
That was very good. And just to put out the tidbit, that viral video of the man that said, I take care of everything. I pay for all my daughter's bills. When I watched it, I was like, interesting. And a month later, they were on Iyanla.
Right.
So that whole, I'm going to take care of you.
I watched this film on batterers. And one of the males said on there, he said, I come from a wealthy family. So when I'm in a relationship, I will buy her car. I will make sure she everything that she has, I bought it, because it's hard for you to have any control over it. And this is what he said. It's hard for a woman to have control over anything if she owns nothing. So I make sure I everything that she has, I purchase it. And then it got me to start thinking, like, a lot of women will say, well, he bought me this, girl, he bought me that, and I got this and the other thing. But then they don't realize that they're slowly acquiring you fully, like you become in their possession, because before you know it, you have nothing. Not even a bank account, not even a paycheck. You have nothing. Yeah, you have a nice car and all this stuff. But when it comes down to y'all getting an argument, it's his now. You have no way to go where you need to go. You have no place to lay your head. I've seen people put their woman out in the streets and they living in their car because they mad and that's their house.
Right. Come on. Come on. I love this. Alana's just saying how important, because you're right. A lot of us, Alana, don't know the red flag, which is definitely a clear sign of like, dude, don't pass go.
Mm-hmm.
Don't collect $200. Just get out. The yellow flag is like, wait a
Mm-hmm.
minute, let's investigate this some more. No. Here we go. Jonathan, you all right with us? Please excuse my thoughts to our esteemed panel. I once was told by a community member that some men use their lower body parts very aggressively during intimacy is considered a form of abuse. Is that possible or really true? I'm gonna let Raylyn speak to that first, where we're using sex. Then I'm gonna let Brother Michael speak to that as well, because sex is a form of DV.
It is.
It
It
really
is.
is.
So if there's no consent, we know that
That's right.
that's just because you're in a relationship with somebody doesn't give them the right to have, you know, dibs on your body every moment, you know, that you can
Right.
easily say
Right.
no. And they have to be able to accept that no, not to be able to not to begin to start begging you, or, you know, you hurting me and blah, 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 all those ways of coercing you into doing something that you don't want to do. Now, to what he's saying, to aggressively, I think it comes to having that consent. How does that person want to be loved in that area?
Right.
Is that okay with that person? Is that person uncomfortable? Have they even tried? Have
Right.
they even took the time to ask if that person was comfortable, what they liked and what they didn't like? But just coming
The
in and just doing what
conversation.
you want to do is not okay, right? There has to be communication about it.
Love that. Love that. Michael.
You don't know their past,
Yeah,
especially
no.
if they've been abused in the past or something.
That's right.
You know,
Right.
That's right.
Right.
I just echo everything she said. She hit every point that I was going to say. The fact is, it has to be a level of communication and agreement.
Yes.
Not just communication.
Yes.
This is what I like. There has
Right.
to be an agreement
Right.
between both people. And, you know,
Yes.
the what, when, how, and whatever. So it could be possible if there's no communication.
You're absolutely right.
It
And
could be.
yeah,
It could be the
communication
truth.
is so key. Yeah, you're right. There's so often we do not take the time in these relationships. That's why those reds and yellow flags were so important. Listen, we need to have these conversations. What do you like? What pleases you? You know, what scares me? You know,
Right.
I've had some clients where we think that because of past sexual trauma in childhood that can affect us differently as well. Have we explored all of those traumas? Have we gone into here's my shameless plug. I ain't ashamed of it either. Have we gone to therapy? Have we gone to talk about that? I think I love couples that say we don't necessarily have a problem. We just want to make sure we're doing it right. And if there's any challenges that we need to talk through or some uncomfortable areas we need to talk about, so that I know where she's at, I know where he's at, so that we're working on that together. And that can definitely be
Right.
disclosed. And if we're going
So
to
very
premarital
important.
counseling, it is extremely important. So thank you. So we talked about red flags. We talked about yellow flags. What are green flags? Raylyn, talk to us about these green flags and what are they and how do we know a green flag?
Well, in a healthy relationship, which would be the green flags, there's honesty, there's trust, there's good communication,
Yes.
as well as really just getting to know one another, and you're
Yes.
enhancing. You know, they want to work. You know, they hear your goals, and they want to help you out with your goals, or saying, okay, you know, they're pushing you towards what you said you want to do, instead of tearing you
Right.
down. So really, just have that encouragement.
That's good.
Encouraging one another. That's really big on the green
Yes.
flags as well.
Yes. Love that. Green flag, Michael.
Yes, I agree. I agree with everything said. They support your growth. They
Yes.
support the things that you do in terms of in a
Yes.
healthy manner. They support growth. They honor your boundaries. When you set clear boundaries, they honor them. They don't try to overstep them. They honor your
Yes.
spirituality, whatever it is.
Yes.
They are self-reflective, responsible, and they provide themselves with self-care. That's a whole mouthful.
Wow.
They
That
are
really is.
self-reflective, they're self-responsible, and they have a level of self-care for themselves. And if they have that
Yes.
for them, the expectation is you should have that for you. Having said that,
Yes.
there's empathy between both of us.
Right, right,
Hmm.
right. You're absolutely right. You're right. Jonathan, thank you so much for your comment. Appreciate you. Listen, guys, we so appreciate all the comments. I don't want to leave this without talking about the importance of a safety plan. Why is that so
Hmm.
important, having and establishing a safety plan for a lot of, I love this green flag, God is the center of the relationship. Come on, Paula. Don't you make us shout up in here. Why is it important to have these safety plans, and how do we help implement one? Raylene, I'm going to go to you first on a safety plan.
Okay. It's, like you mentioned before, that it takes 7 times. Sometimes it takes 7 times before a person can
Yes.
finally fully leave the relationship. A safety
Right,
plan is a
right,
way to prevent death, really, to prevent you from causing yourself further harm. So, what a safety
right.
plan is preparing ahead
Mm-hmm.
of time that you're going to leave, or
Yes.
preparing to keep yourself safe in that relationship, because some people may have a
Yes.
safety plan and decide that they're going to stay, but being able to
Yes.
have safety measures in place to say, okay, if this happens, if he or she comes home this way, I'm gonna make sure that I am, that I'm safe today. But it goes a little bit
Right.
further than that when it comes to leaving, being able to pack a bag ahead of time, be able to get your documents
Mm-hmm.
and stuff together that you need
Mm-hmm.
ahead of time,
Mm-hmm.
being able to
Mm-hmm.
let your kids know how to call 911, how to call,
Right.
their family members or whoever may need to be
That's
called,
good.
having cash and things set aside for your and that developing a safety plan. So when it's time to go, you can easily, grab your stuff and go. And then you would have these things in a place where, of course, your person wouldn't know about you. You wouldn't be talking to your partner, telling them you're going to leave. But one day
Right.
you just might, you're going to make that choice that that day is the time to go.
Yes. Yes.
So
I love
yeah,
what,
and
what
that
Tricia
bag and
says.
stuff you want
Safety.
to,
Go ahead. Go
yeah,
ahead. I'm
plan
sorry.
for your children. Letting your children
Yes.
know, like, but you don't want to, with the children, you want to talk to them in the way that because, kids talk. You don't want to be like, hey, we're going to leave your dad or your mom and this is how it's going to be. But you want to be able to say, hey, we're developing this plan in the case of an emergency, that we're able to do this
Right.
that way. Or you're developing code words with your kids. Like if you feel like we're unsafe or something's going on, I'm going to, say this word, and this means go to the neighbor's house. So you're in a safe spot until everything else gets under wraps here. So being able to have that communication with your kids, letting them know that this is, what the plan is, without saying it's
That's
actually the
good.
plan, depending on their age. If
That's
they're a lot
good.
older, teenagers, then you can be upfront and probably tell them what's going on.
Love that. Love
Yeah,
that.
and
Michael,
and
safety
switch up
plan.
your life. I would just, in terms of safety plans, if you're
Mhm.
serious about what you're
Yes.
doing, switch up everything. Switch up your style. Switch up where you go. Switch up phones.
Yes.
Mhm.
In terms
That's
of your
good.
safety plan, you should have a burner phone somewhere.
Yes.
This sounds crazy, like it's supposed to be on a
Mhm.
movie, but if you're serious and if you're in that type
But
of
it's the truth.
relationship,
It's the
if you're
truth.
in
Mhm.
that
Yes.
type of relationship, you have to have planned it out for a T. Some other people can get out of their relationships through assertive communication and a little bit of law enforcement. But if you are in a
Mm-hmm.
plan
Mhm.
that requires you to have to run or leave, in terms of your safety plan, knowing the contact, like she said, the buzzwords to use
Yes.
and what people to contact in your local entities, in terms of
Yes.
DV agencies in California or
Mhm.
throughout
Yes.
the country, the National DV line, and
Mhm.
there's systems set up in place where you
Yes.
can click on that website and it be secretive, and they'll
Mm-hmm.
make sure that they can get to you in the
Mm-hmm.
proper manner. If that's what you need to do, that's what you need to do. Some other people need to have assertive communication, and some other people need law enforcement.
That's right.
Right.
That's
Period.
right.
Right.
And some
Love all
people
of
Right.
who
that.
think they're in a DV situation, they just need to understand that it's time for it to be over.
Mhm.
Exactly.
Some people
Exactly.
need to know that it's time for it to be over.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
And we want to encourage. We want to just encourage you. Listen, it is a tough situation, and we do not
Yes.
listen. There's so much bravery and courage that comes with. I'm going to move. I'm going to leave this situation. It is not something that is done haphazardly. It's something that is very, very,
Right.
very serious. And so we commend anyone who has decided. Our goal is to empower you, hopefully to give you some encouragement. If you are in a domestic violence relationship, you can always call 411. You can call 911. They will get you some information
211.
there. 211. Thank you. It was two. I
211.
said 411. Yeah, 211. Thank you. Lord, I was like, get the information, but call 211. That will tell you some of the local shelters or what have you in your local area. With that, you can text help to 741-741. Get in there. That's a secure text line. There is also this amazing app called Not Okay. And it's an app that is designed. It was designed. Are you ready? I love this, by two teenage African-American brother and sister team. Not Okay. You can hit that app. It will contact the authorities or 3 trusted people to let them know you are not okay. You don't have to say anything. And it sends a GPS of exactly where you are at as well. Not Okay. It's a free app that is really, really great. Was designed to help children who had some physical disabilities or some medical emergencies type of thing situation, and for kidnapping things. Not Okay. You don't have to say a word. Hit the app. It sends it out to those trusted partners and to the police to let you know where your location. So we just want to give you some tools to help you along the line with this. I can't believe that our time is up already, because we just barely scratched the surface. But listen, I can't thank both of you enough for coming always on here and always being willing to share. Raylan, how can people follow you and get more information and get, what if they want to see you as a therapist? How can they get a hold of you?
All right. If you want to follow me on any of the social media apps, you can type in Empower Nista. You'll find my information there. If for morning prayer, we pray daily. You'll type in that. I get up every morning, 5:30 a.m. and I pray and share the word of the Lord, as well as therapy, Marcel Consulting and Mental Health Services.
Listen,
that's how you can find me.
She is absolutely amazing. We're so glad to have her with the organization. Like I said, she's becoming our DV queen with doing the trainings, all of that. And we just love her and all the great work that you are doing. This was absolutely, thank you. Thank you. Listen, Jonathan, I appreciate you as well. Brother Michael, yes. How can we get a hold of you? How do we follow you and all that great stuff?
All that great stuff. You can look for Love Counsels 1. Love Counsels ONE on any major platform, Facebook, Instagram, and such. Love Counsels 1 at gmail.com. Michael Adams, you'll see my face. It's up there somewhere.
Definitely. Hey, again, thank you so much, y'all, for coming out. I'm trying to get myself right in the square here because I'm messing up today. I gotta get my cameras. I rearranged my office here. Gotta get it right again. But we are so grateful. Thank you guys so much for being on here and sharing the information. Listen, we ask you a favor. Listen, if this was really good and you know some other people, like and share this video with others so that they can get the necessary help in everything that they do. We don't want to leave you without getting hope and help. There are so many ways that you can get help. If you're looking for therapeutic services, there's lots of ways that you can definitely get some help with that. Daryl, my order is all off today, so I will look at you for help with that. But before we do anything else, we have been having a contest on the Mental Health Marty Facebook and Instagram page. So we have a winner of the t-shirt, Black Mental Health Matters. And for that, yes, we have a winner of that amazing sweatshirt. And the winner of that from our Instagram, let me check here, is going to be, drum roll somehow, please. And Imo Juice. So, Mr. Imo Juice, we definitely got you, man. I'm gonna reach out to you. He says, or ITBG. That's what we talk about. Mr. Imo Juice or IBGT, you are the winner of this Black Mental Health Matters sweatshirt. I'll be reaching out to you so we can get your size and get that shipped out to you. We're going to be doing some more of these type of promotions throughout the whole month of November and December. We're going to have a Black Friday special that's going to be absolutely ridiculous in getting your orders out and getting you ready for Christmas. But we are so glad that you have joined us. Again, thank you for joining us on this special edition of Mental Health Matters with Marty as we talk about October is domestic violence and domestic violence awareness. We want you to identify, like we shared tonight, the green flag, the yellow flags, and the red flags, discussing the safety plans and all that is involved with that. So if you're looking for some mental health resources, we wanted to help you in this journey because we don't want you to go without resources. If you can always text crisis to 741-741, and they will definitely text message some things back to you. Check out psychologytoday.com. If you're looking for a therapist in your area that can support you, there's therapyforblackmen.com, as well as goodtherapy.com. And of course, we always want to promote also marcelconsulting.com as well. If you're looking for therapy or support in those areas, everything that these people, I'm so glad about, they're 100% confidential. Everything is kept private, and your personal information is kept private as well, because we want to help lead you into health and wellness and a safety plan for you as well. Again, Daryl, let's skip right to the ending of that, if you don't mind. And again, thank you so much for joining us on this edition of Mental Health Matters with Marty. We want you to not feel that you have to secretly suffer in silence in the shadow of shame. But as I say each week, we want you to speak up. We want you to speak out so that you can live. How do you do that? By enjoying your life. We'll see you tomorrow night for another edition of the Daughters Dialogue. Have a good one. We'll see you then. Take care and God bless.
Enjoy.